All right, hi everybody. We are on round two of my mole game, and we have Chell here. Chell, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Very good. My first question for you is, how do you feel you did on the first quiz?
See, it's tough because we don't necessarily know the results, right? So the unfortunately someone exited the game, but it doesn't reveal anything for any of the players, right? So I mean, if I were to exit, I'd be like, hey, I was wrong. But if someone else were to exit and I've had conversations with them, at least it would narrow it down, be like, okay, they were focused on someone and now they're gone. So I'm not going to focus on that person,
Mhm.
right? But seeing it didn't work out that way, it's like starting fresh. That's how I feel.
Well, how do you think the mole has sabotaged the game so far?
See, I always put my hat on as what happens if I was the mole, and I say, okay, how would I do it? But I think because of the intricacies of this game, I think that at this moment I don't want to be too forthcoming and too sabotagey. So I kind of let the other players sabotage for me, which I think is going well. I mean, technically, over the last two nights, I have inhibited the most money from going into the game. I wagered $6 last night, and I lost money this night just for a chance at an exemption. So I think
Uh,
I'm doing better than the mole is to sabotage the game.
well, how do you feel you are being perceived by the other players?
Well, I'm hoping that some people are second guessing whether I'm the mole or not. Um, I think that I'm just kind of maybe in the gray area for most players. Um, but I think the more that I try to sabotage the game slightly against us, it may be worth it. So I guess at this point, I would say I don't think people are necessarily gunning for me, but I think maybe they're starting to suspect some things. Maybe.
Um, do you feel like you're more prepared going into the next quiz?
Yes. I think that one of the big clues tonight was someone who I thought originally could potentially be the mole, and then through an error that I think no one, maybe one other person could have caught. Um, I'm like, the mole would have had the answer. The mole wouldn't have gotten it wrong, but like they might have gotten it wrong, but not said that it was right. So I'm not saying you didn't check right because I'm like, I don't think you're playing the game against us. But in my head, I'm like, okay, that kind of narrows that person out of my list because they would have had the answer or not have the answer, not have an answer that was close enough for you to be like, you got it. And I'm like, did she get it? So it helped me narrow it down. And then personally, I suspect someone. Um, are we supposed to say it? Is that something we're supposed to say? Oh,
You can
okay.
say whatever you want.
I think it's Heather. I think that the clues line up, and if like, I love the mole. You spelled mole last night in the game. Um, the elevator of doom, the lighthouse, the opal, the magic room, and if people didn't pick up on that, I'm like, there's no way these are just random. So clearly in my head, the magic room equates to Harry Potter. Opal is Jonathan's birthstone. The lighthouse, Heather's favorite movie is 51st Dates, and they have their first kiss at the lighthouse. And the Elevator of Doom, I had no idea what it was, but I chalked it up to a video game and someone liked playing PS4. So I was like, maybe that was Anthony's kind of clue. So as we go through it, I'm also, some people's names came up tonight. I mean, there was a good misdirect with lime green, which is my favorite color, but some misdirects, and I'm like, okay, as long as I keep on this track, I think I might have a chance. So when the opportunity to have the mole or myself get the exemption, and I put it on her to choose because she said, "Hey, let's keep it until the end of the round." And I said, "Okay, well, that's what the mole would say," and kind of put her on the spot. She chose to go in that circle of the random wheel, and I was so glad it landed on her because I'm like, "This is great. This is fantastic," because now I know she can't win it later on, which is exactly what she said. But also, I have my suspicion on her. So that's my answer right now. I think it's Heather.
All right. Um, well then, the last question that I had for you is your list of suspects right now the same, or do you have any new targets you're considering? And is there anybody that you're not feeling so moly about at this point?
Um, Jessica, I don't think is the mole. Again, with the mistake tonight and knowing Jessica's history as we were talking, um, you said it was completely random who the mole got as the mole was selected. But I also don't think you would have someone who in the last game also played a very mole-ish character, unless you're very cruel and making me think that, and then I'm completely wrong and that's my bad. But I was like, okay, I don't think it's Jessica. I don't think it's Brandon. But I narrowed it down to Tina, Tiffany, or Heather. I do have my outs with Jonathan, and Anthony's a wild card right now, so it's like I don't know what to kind of feel. But after the challenge tonight, I'm like, I don't know how the girls didn't get those 4 words. Like, no idea how they didn't get the 4 words. I was sitting here, I had the 4 words down, and I'm like, I almost mouthed them through the camera and had to close my mouth like this multiple times. I was like, come on, say it. So, but
Awesome. All right, well that's your interview, so there we go.